Joining us now via Skype from Paris is political commentator Hamid Chriet. Thank you so much for joining us, Hamid. Thank you so much for joining us indeed. I'm Simphiwe Ncongwane. Let's now start with the latest with regards to the political tension that's brewing in France. Any casualties, perhaps? We've seen French Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin saying that 64 people have been arrested already.
Yeah. Of course, more than 100,000 in 80 cities in France, in all France, have been protesting against the Macron's global security bills. We've seen that the atmosphere in France is very worrying about the situation today. People are fed up with this tension and with the Macron's policies. Of course, these policies have been for decades in favor of the elites, the French elite, and the higher class. Today, we've seen that the middle class have been protesting in this protest against the Macron's policies, and Macron is beating about the bush, not taking any decision to fight racism and police brutality. French people are today condemning the police brutality against particularly the Arabics and the minority and the black people. And today it's enough. The youth generation are standing against this discrimination, this separatism against the minority. And this is today is a situation that Macron put himself by not taking measures, political measures against this discrimination. As you know, Macron also is facing a huge challenge in Africa, such in Libya, and such in the relationship with Turkey and others continents. Today, France is going down. The economic is not good. The COVID situation has increased the social tension and the economic tension. Macron had been elected as a candidate, new candidate who promises to transform the French economy. It was a new phase for the French people. But people today are revolted about the Macron policies against his government and his policies, who is in favor of the elites and the higher class. And this is started with the former government, the former president, Hollande, who appointed him as an economic minister. So today, the French people are fed up. They have enough with this situation. And they would like a huge change, a huge political change. And Macron has today to take a decision to find the discrimination and the political who has taken for a so large place in France. So this is enough today. People have been arrested, targeting, discriminated, particularly the minority. This is enough for people. People accept that in the 29th century, France is still living in 1890. So people today, there is a huge protest and also anger the Macron government. And I think Macron has to decide quickly and to take political measures quickly and appropriate measures to find this disease in the French society.
Now, Hamid, is this contentious bill in response to the video that circulated on social media and online of police officers beating up a black man? I mean, whose interest does this particular bill serve? Does it serve the interest of the government, in particular the authorities, or the interest of the citizens?
No, of course. This will serve, of course, the interest of the government, the Article 4, who try to not allow the journalists and the citizens to broadcast the police brutality, has been decisive to, particularly about this controversy, this Article 24. That's why people have been protesting against these articles. But not only this 24 article, people have been focusing on this article. There's other articles which are more dense, such as the 25, Article 26, where the police can now be allowed to use a drone to target French people, to take pictures and an image which is against the basic of human rights and liberties. That's why there is a kind of double standard and double approach of the Macron's government. So now today, people are waking up against measures, these political measures. People are in a disaster situation. More than 1 million people, they should have been going to the market, the employment, and now they are in an unemployment because of the COVID-19. But they don't have any issue, any job, any future. That's why the youth generation, which are black, Arabic, and white French, have decided to protest because they know that now the stake in France and they understand the political game of money. People are waking up, they want to take their own right, fight discrimination and the racism. Unfortunately, France and the former government during 30 years didn't do anything to find the discrimination and also racism in France, which has taken so much place during these decades. And now Macron has taken measures to fight this. Otherwise, people will go to protest and continue going in the streets, and like they will have their right. Right.
Now, this bill is reportedly part of President Macron's drive to get tougher on law and order ahead of the elections in 2022. But it does appear that he's sort of scoring an own goal and shooting himself in the foot because the protesters would have none of it. In fact, they are protesting over his ability to lead the country, and he's still fresh from the yellow vest protests.
Yes, of course. You made a very good point. The Macron inability, we've seen after when he has been elected, after 1 year, we've seen his incapacity of ruling France. We've seen after 1 year, the yellow movement who had suffered, who had been violated, the police brutality during more than 1 year. Yellow have been protesting in the streets, have been violated, you know. So the international community have seen, all countries in the world have seen how the police brutality in France has taken place against the citizens. You know, there's not two citizens in France, there's only one citizen. Whatever you are, Muslim or black, Arabic, you are French. All French have the same right as you know, according to the French constitution. And Macron has to apply, has to respect the French constitution and the basic elements of human rights in France. That's why today, the yellow vest, and not only the yellow vest, as you know, demanding the basic right, the social right, they are demanding unemployment in France, and that the youth generation can find a good future. Because today, no French seems to see a line for the future, a line, you know, for the avenues. That's why today there is a kind of frustration, particularly in the generation which had, you know, voted for Macron and had a lot of promises by Macron, and now they are deceived by the president. So that's why there is a kind of the huge anger who are taking place in France, and that will not stop, obviously.
But President Macron acknowledged that there are those police officers who are, who are violent and corrupt, and he insisted that they need to be punished. Does this perhaps not absolve him from the criticism that he's using state apparatus and using, the police officers to clamp down on dissent and, just set the police officers on civilians?
Yeah, but who nominated the head of the department of the police? The prefect is the French president, as you know. Why would you find one black Arabic French guy who is ambassador in France, who is a commissioner? There is no one. All of them are white.
Thank you so much for your analysis and for your time. We do appreciate it. That was a political commentator, Hamid, joining us live from Paris and via Skype.